So your name was dropped because here's why. Because you have previously debated Jordan Peterson, but yeah, and they mentioned it, right? He said you said you were, I don't know, something an angry white man or something like that. Or mean, I forget. Let's go beyond these two guys.
Hold on. Listen to him downplaying this shit right here. Like News Alert, we covered this. We covered this ass.
Jordan Peterson with an international bestseller. I want him to tweet something out about me in my book. Jordan Peterson, right? This is what I'm saying to you. Why the rage, bruh? You're doing well, but you're a mean, mad white man.
And with regards to my privilege or lack thereof, I mean, I'm not making the case that I haven't had advantages in my life and disadvantages in my life like most people. You don't know anything about my background or where I came from, and it doesn't matter to you because fundamentally I'm a mean white man. That's a hell of a thing to say in a debate.
The mean, mad white comment was not predicated upon my historical excavation of your past. It's based upon the evident vitriol with which you speak and the denial of a sense of equanimity among combatants in an argument. So I'm saying again, you're a mean, mad white man, and the viciousness is evident.
Okay.
Do you know what he said?
What?
It's actually really fucked up. He said it in very big words, but what he said was, I'm not calling you the N-word because of the history of oppression of black people. I'm calling you the N-word because you're acting like an N-word.
Oh,
that's what he just said.
Michael Eric Dyson, professor of African American and Diaspora Studies at Vanderbilt University, joins me now. He is the author of Entertaining Race, Performing Blackness in America. Hello, Professor. Thank you for joining us.
Performing Blackness in America. I don't know. That title seems a little problematic to me.
It does seem a little... well, you know, it seems more problematic to me than the title. Michael Eric Dyson, famous guy. I assume he's done a lot of interviews. You can't buy like a good camera.
A decent
using
camera.
Like a camera that came in a tin can or something.
Everything is so meta with Sitch. Sitch can't comment on the actual...
What's going on here, Michael?
Sitch can't comment on the actual content. I noticed
it looks so weird next to Don Lemon's like crystal clear image.
Match this up here. The name of his book is Performing Blackness in America. Match this that the conceptual idea behind that with Trevor Noah's joke about running out and the police arresting him because he's black. Explain to me how those two concepts go together. Who is Trevor Noah performing blackness in America incorrectly?
That's a great question.
Oh, what's going on? Or is society foisting blackness on him? Which is it? I'm curious.
I like that I typed performing black in Google, and there's like performing blackness by Kimberly Benston, entertaining race and performing blackness in America by Michael Eric Dyson, performing black masculinity, race, culture, and queer identity by some other guy. Performing Blackness podcast. There's like a million of these performing. Oh no, the Performing Blackness podcast is his. But there's like a million of these performing blackness things.
If blackness is just a performance, then why is Trevor Noah getting arrested? Obviously, he needs to change his performance, and then he wouldn't get arrested, right?
Because white people are performing it too, Adam. You don't understand. Okay?
Really?
White people are performing whiteness, which is holding the performance of blackness down on the stage of America.
These people don't care about any kind of consistency. They don't want to develop a society with any kind of consistency. It just bugs the shit out of me. Like, okay, now let's rage for 25 minutes about two guys talking about how these racial categories are just, we need to do away with them, to a guy who's literally talking about how they're just a social construct that's performative.
So your name was dropped because here's why. Because you have previously debated Jordan Peterson, but yeah, and they mentioned it, right? He said you said you were, I don't know, something an angry white man or something like that. Or mean, I forget. Let's go beyond these two guys.
Hold on. Listen to him downplaying this fucking shit right here. Like News Alert, we covered this. We covered this, assholes. I remember very well Michael Eric Dyson in the debate looked super fucking uncomfortable when he got called out because he knew like he had overstepped the line. He called Jordan Peterson a mean, mad white man. Like a million videos got made about it. It was like a big deal. Jordan Peterson got completely triggered, totally called him out for it. Like, you know, visibly angry, said, "Why would you bring race into this? That's totally uncalled for."
They weren't even talking about anything race related. At the time, too.
No. Michael Eric Dyson basically did a racism against fucking white people. He basically said, you know, I know who you are because you're white, which is that's racist as fuck. Jordan Peterson got visibly angry about it for good reason. This is a serious debate. Stephen Fry was in the debate. Who was a woman? Do you remember?
The New York Times writer whose name is
some New York Times writer was on Michael Eric Dyson's side. Michael Eric Dyson drags race into it, gets visibly distraught over this, you know, and obviously is, you know, Michael Eric Dyson is like a thesaurus with fucking his vocabulary, but he says absolutely nothing. So he's just trotting out big words, trying to walk it back, you know, backpedaling through this entire thing. Well, I remember we covered it and we didn't even know if we were going to get all the way through because it's like a 1 hour, 2 hour debate. This is like our first live stream. We live stream like 8 hours. We were like 3 hours seemed like a big live stream to us. So, but I made Sitch swear. Well, I told him I was going to stick around to the end because Michael Eric Dyson, in the end of the debate, there's a press junket. The press wants to talk to them. And in that press junket, you could, like, the reporters want to ask him about the white thing. And he is fucking uncomfortable, man. He wants to get out of there so bad. You can tell he has this look on his face like, I just destroyed my entire career. So, and this was like 2 or 3 years ago. So it was kind of when like before, I don't think he would have that same reaction today because this woke stuff is par for the course. We're used to black people being racist all the fucking time and no one calling them out on it. Like, it's just, it's part of the political atmosphere now. So I don't.
Well, you don't have to guess. I mean, he's like 1,000 times more racist than this clip right now.
Totally.
I haven't heard a single person talk about it.
Totally. But you can go back and watch that debate, and the way that they're characterizing that debate right now is fucking lying. Okay, I would like to go back to those simpler times, you know, when black people committed a racism and they felt bad about it. Okay, that's I mean, that's what we witnessed. That's exactly what we witnessed. Nowadays, these, like we said, the white progressives, they don't call them out on this shit. Like, they're realizing we can walk all over these people because they don't fucking call us out for our shit. And what are you going to get? You're going to get more of it. You're going to get total, like, on the conservative side, I see people calling out racism all the time. On the anti-woke liberal side, I see people calling out racism all the time. Racism needs to be called out because it's so easy to slip into that fucking comfortable, let's hate on these other people. Like, one of the reasons why Jordan Peterson, they can't beat up on Trump 24/7, so they have to find another villain, and Jordan Peterson is one of those villains. Joe Rogan has become one of those villains. Like, the wokies, they need like somebody that they can prop up that is like the David Duke of their time. The thing that offends me, and I'm sure it offends Sitch as well, is the people they're propping up are fucking 60s liberals, fucking hippies, free speech, free love. Like, Jordan Peterson doesn't have a racist bone in his body, and if he did, we wouldn't be like backing him up right now. We wouldn't be having this show. We're not going to support fucking racists. It's so ridiculous that they're turning a guy who is like a 60s liberal into David Duke for fucking CNN. It drives me insane.
It's so funny because there's a part in this conversation later where Peterson talks about how wealth accumulates unevenly at the top in a completely random system. And like, he's like, oh, if you play a game where we flip coins, there's 10 people and everyone flips coins, and like one side gets $1 when they get heads and one side gets $1 when they get tails. If you and then when you get zero money, you lose and you're out of the game. If you do that every time, one person ends up with all the money and everyone else ends up with no money. And he was talking about like how the problem with Marxism and socialism is that they're correct in that there's inequality in the system. They're incorrect in assuming that inequality is because of capitalism. That the truth is inequality is baked into all systems and nature itself.
Yes.
And if you actually care about solving these problems, you actually have to understand them and look at them accurately. And that socialism and Marxism, when it was tried, just makes inequality worse. And he even said, and even said about how this affects Black Americans too, more so, and should be looked into. And it's so funny because like you actually listen to what he's saying. He's not saying anything controversial. He's not saying anything specifically right wing either. It's just they have to twist everything to be like, oh, he's a right wing fascist, racist, Jordan Peterson, just transphobe.
If Jordan Peterson could press a button and make racial inequality go away, he would fucking press that button in a fucking hot second. Like,
yes,
he's basically saying that, it is a deeper problem than the left is willing to is maybe even capable of understanding.
Right.
Yeah. It's hard too, because it's part of the problem there. And this is important to realize. And one of the things that triggers me more than anything, part of the problem is they're using that. It's like people are using that inequality to gain social status and political power. Michael Eric Dyson, for one, specifically. Don Lemon as well. So I'm not sure that they would press that inequality gone button as quickly or even at all, because do you disagree with me? I mean, they are tangibly using it to gain political power.
There's your 2-button meme, okay, for Michael Eric Dyson.
Yeah, totally. My Don career Lemon. On one side
one
and
button, it says, one button says remove all racial inequality in America. The other button says have successful career complaining about racial inequality.
Yes, exactly.
What do they do? I don't know. What do you do?
Yeah, Jordan Peterson's pressing the end racial inequality button way before Michael Eric Dyson.
Yeah, but his career, but again, his career isn't based on it. So, listen, it's easy for Jordan Peterson to have a morally correct position because his career is not based on evil. Okay.
I'm so against the idea of building these careers on activism. I know. Oh God, it's so bad. It's so bad.
You said you were, I don't know, something, an angry white man or something like that. Or mean, I forget. Let's go beyond the...
Look, he completely... Did he mischaracterize it? It seems like he did.
Well, I just find that he's like,
blackness in America.
The thing that started the entire conversation... You said some weird word thing that started the entire conversation, but I'm not going to give the context to it, even though it's the entire context of the thing that we're about to criticize.
Let's listen really closely here, because this is gaslighting of the highest level.
Okay. Hello, Professor. Thank you for joining us. So your name was dropped because here's why. Because you have previously debated Jordan Peterson, and they mentioned it, right? He said, you said you were, I don't know, something, an angry white man or something like that. Or mean, I forget. Let's go beyond these.
He said you were an angry white man. What?
No. I don't think that's...
He misspoke, but
Right.
He's saying Jordan Peterson called you something. That's not how it went down. He completely misspoke.
Right.
Am I getting that wrong?
that he's trying to downplay it.
He's totally trying to downplay it. But he is saying he called you something.
No, I think he said you, like you, Michael Eric Dyson.
Peterson. And they mentioned it, right? He said you said you were, I don't know, something, an angry white.
He said you were.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. He's quoting Joe Rogan saying you. You're right.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know the context, this would be even more confusing.
It makes it sound.
Who said what? The who? Yeah.
It makes it sound like he called Michael Eric Dyson an angry white man. And that actually
Right.
goes with the narrative of what they're talking about, because in
Right.
the conversation, they're trying to say, you know, he's not even black, he's white. So now this miscommunication here in the audience's mind is going to be like, oh, of course, he's questioning he's questioning his blackness so much that he called him an evil, angry white man.
That's right. There you go.
White man or something like that, or mean, I forget. Let's go beyond these two guys.
And look, Michael Eric Dyson just nodding away, doesn't even correct it. He's like, oh, yeah, he called me an angry white man. Imagine that. Senile.
Talk about what's really happening here. Is it really that perplexing to people that Black America exists in all kinds of shades? That doesn't change the Black experience in America.
What?
See?
What the fuck where does this come from? They said nothing about that. Fucking nothing about the Black experience in America. And this is the pivot point.
Dude, he literally just said that Jordan Peterson called him a mean, mad white man, which is not true. That's what Michael Eric Dyson called Peterson. And now he's trying to say that, don't they understand that Black Americans exist? This is like fucking such gaslighting.
I don't think when Donelman misspoke,
You think
I think
he
it was a
misspoke.
misspoke. I don't think he said
Right.
it intentionally, the way that you're conceptualizing it.
It
Because he's
doesn't
making
matter.
the same point that Trevor Noah
Systemic
made. It doesn't make
dishonesty,
any sense.
systemic lying, systemic
There you go.
gaslighting.
There you go.
The effect is the same.
Don
Is it
Lemon,
not?
why are you being so systemically dishonest?
Is it not?
It is. It is.
Yeah, of course it is. They
You have
should
to
play
fight
the
back.
they should play the mean man white man clip of him. We should bring it up. This is complete fucking gaslighting. I don't like it.
Not at all. Thank you for having me, Brother Don. You know,
Brother Don.
Don.
I know, Brother Don.
All right. I like
What's
when I
up?
type in Jordan Peterson, mean mad white man.
There's
One
a
of the
million
top-
videos.
One
You
of the top
got
videos.
is
One of
yours.
the top videos. PSA Sitch. Back when PSA Sitch used to make videos. How sad. How
Let's
sad is
watch that video. Well, let's watch that video on Tuesday. I totally.
Let's not watch my own video. That's cringy.
I want to watch it.
No.
God, I'm like the biggest PSA Sitch fan. I really. I like.
That's not true. You're
As
not.
soon as
Doomer
I
is the biggest PSA Sitch fan. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Sitch's videos are amazing. Every once in a while I go back and I watch one of Sitch's videos. The only thing is, I mean, and this is kind of a boomer take, but
Uh-oh.
I just, like, you did an amazing one about Peterson not being alt-right, but that, like, it's done with a bunch of like anime memes and shit like that.
I know,
So
I
the
know,
normies are just not gonna. It's like
I know.
it's
You're
not,
right.
that's not going to fly on CNN.
Listen,
We're in a culture war here. God damn it, we need to shape up.
Listen, it was for my audience. It wasn't for the normies.
I know,
okay?
I know.
Compromise, never.
We're artists. We're artists.
That's right.
God damn it.
Do
This
you
is
wanna,
how we roll.
Do you want to watch the mean mad white man clip real quick?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we're at
Let's-
224. So
Let's provide some context. here.
On those, great, Michelle. On Jordan's point about how does he, in a sense, get an equal voice in this debate back if it is implied that his participation brings with it this baggage of white privilege that doesn't allow him to see clearly the issues that are before us.
But that is to be complicit in the very problem itself terminologically. You're beginning at a point that's already productive and controversial. You're saying, how can he get his equality back? Who are you talking about? Jordan Peterson?
So, what just happened? Because this is all coming back to me. So, Jordan Peterson asked the question, if you're going to assume that as a white person, I have all this in-baked privilege, and you're going to dismiss my opinions because of that, like, what's the point of me being here? Is there any way for you to talk to me as an individual, right?
Yeah.
And individually hear my ideas and my concepts? And Michael Eric Dyson's response to that is, how dare this white man has to be taken as an individual?
Right.
He's a white person, and thus he has privilege because of his group and his history, or the history of his group, yada, yada, yada. So he's literally denying this is we're already into the racism because he's denying Jordan Peterson's individuality from the word go here.
Yeah.
Trending #1 on Twitter, Jordan Peterson
Most
with an
that's
international
insults, by the way.
international bestseller. I want him to tweet something out about me in my book. Jordan Peterson, right? This is what I'm saying to you. Why the rage, bruh? You're doing well, but you're a mean, mad white man, and you're gonna get us right.
And you hear the second part of that too is really bad that we don't focus on. He said, "You're a mean, mad white man, and you're gonna get us right. Like you're gonna get black people right, and how you
Ooh,
conceptualize us." Yeah.
What do you think he meant by that?
He meant like you're gonna put us in our place.
Hmm.
That's how I interpret it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
the mean, angry white man is gonna, he's gonna tell black people what's what.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen so much wine and snowflaking. There's enough wine in here to start a vineyard. And
The irony, the hypocrisy.
I'm trying to bring up the volume on the clip, and every time
Yeah,
you
it's kinda
pipe in,
quiet.
it's like blows it out. So just
Oh, sorry.
FYI.
We can just play the clip if you want.
Yeah, let's just play the clip.
what I'm saying to you empirically and precisely, when you ask the question about white privilege, the fact that you ask it in the way you did, dismissive, pseudoscientific, non-empirical, and without justification, the truth is that white privilege doesn't act according to quantifiable segments. It's about the degree to which we are willing as a society to grapple with the ideals of freedom, justice, and equality upon which it's based. Number two, what's interesting to me, you're talking about not having a collective identity. What do you call a nation? Are you Canadian? Are you Canadian by yourself? Are you an individual, or are you part of a group? When America formed its union, it did so in opposition to another group. So the reality is that those who are part of group identities in politics deny the legitimacy and validity of those groups and the fact that they have been created thusly, and then have resentment against others. All I'm asking for is the opportunity. The quotation you talk about, the difference between equality of outcome and equality of opportunity, that's a staid and retried argument.
Go ahead.
So this is so much worse than I remember.
Oh, I know. It's fucking awful. I'm
'Cause-
so triggered right now.
What he said is crazy because it's like, okay, if he's like, oh, well, why is it okay for you to group yourself according to your nation, but for us not to group ourselves according to race?
Yeah.
Like, this is a white nationalist talking point.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's baffling because it's like, okay, if the argument was, the argument used to be, black people and people of all colors and creeds and ethnicities should be allowed to be grouped together in the America group.
As
that
Americans.
used to be the argument.
Yes.
Right.
And we should group
Right.
that way. We shouldn't group based on race.
Right.
That's the whole idea
And-
behind eliminating racism.
Right. And now he's like, no, because you didn't let us be Americans, we're going to be blacks now. We're not going to be Americans. Like, that's kind of the argument that he's making.
Yeah, it's awful.
Jeez.
Hackneyed phrase derived from the halcyon days of the debate over affirmative action. Are you looking for outcomes that can be determined equally, or are you looking for opportunity? If you free a person after a whole long time of oppression and say now you are free to survive, if you have no skills, if you have no quantifiable means of existence, what you have done is liberated them into oppression. And all I'm suggesting to you, Lyndon Baines Johnson, one of our great presidents, said, if you start a man in a race 100 years behind, it is awfully difficult to catch up. So I don't think Jordan Peterson is suffering from anything except an exaggerated sense of entitlement and resentment, and his own privilege is invisible to him, and it's manifest with lethal intensity and ferocity right here on stage.
Jordan, I'm going to have to let you respond to that if you
Look at that. So fucking evil.
Yeah.
Lethal intensity and ferocity. What?
Of resentment and of his own, his invisible privilege to him.
I forgot about the part where Jordan Peterson killed so many people with his words in this debate, Sitch.
Well, I
What
mean, he
happened?
did kind of murder Michael Clark Dyson on stage, so maybe.
Well, I mean,
I don't know if that counts, but
he definitely didn't walk away. Oh God, I wish we had the ending.
Well, what I derived from that series of rebuttals, let's say, is twofold. The first is that saying that the radical left goes too far when they engage in violence is not a sufficient response by any stretch of the imagination, because there are sets of ideas in radical leftist thinking that led to the catastrophes of the 20th century, and that was at the level of idea, not at the level of violent action. It's a very straightforward thing to say you're against violence. It's like being against poverty. It's like, you know, generically speaking, decent people are against poverty and violence. It doesn't address the issue in the least. And with regards to my privilege or lack thereof, I mean, I'm not making the case that I haven't had advantages in my life and disadvantages in my life like most people. You don't know anything about my background or where I came from, and it doesn't matter to you because fundamentally I'm a mean white man. That's a hell of a thing to say in a debate.
See that how he doubled down? He's like, and true. Did you notice that?
yeah.
He said that's a hell of a thing to say in a debate. He's like, and true. He's like, fucking.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Let me stick the knife in a little deeper here.
Let me just say.
Very, very brief, because I want to move on to men and women. A good topic next.
The mean mad white comment was not predicated upon my historical excavation of your past. It's based upon the evident vitriol with which you speak and the denial of a sense of equanimity among combatants in an argument. So I'm saying again, you're a mean mad white man and the viciousness is evident.
Okay.
Do you know what he said?
What?
It's actually really fucked up. He said it in very big words, but what he said was, I'm not calling you the N-word because of the history of oppression of black people. I'm calling you the N-word because you're acting like an N-word.
Oh,
That's what he just said.
Wow.
But he said it in nicer language.
Yeah.
So that makes it acceptable.
Yeah, I'm glad for the translation because I was like, what did he just say?
That's what it's crazy. That's what a fucking racist thing to say.
Yeah.
I'm not calling you a mean, angry white man because of the history of white people. I'm calling it because you're acting like a mean, angry white man.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's fucking racist.
No. Mike Eric Dyson's a piece of shit.
Is it? Is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was it. Let's see him be even. Let's see if 5 years has made him less racist, or 3 years, whenever that was.
I think it's going to be worse.
I think you're right.
For having me, Brother Don. You know, you would hope they were joking, because if they weren't, this exposes the vast lethal ignorance at the heart of so much whiteness.
Again. Lethal. Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.